You know that feeling when you grab a cheap dehumidifier off the clearance aisle, set it up in the basement, and a week later you're still fighting that damp smell and those mysterious puddles. I've seen it happen a lot. People think they're saving money, but the unit ends up leaking, the filter clogs, or it just can't keep up with the humidity spikes after a rainstorm. That's the kind of buyer regret that makes me pause before I click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So the question is, does the AprilAire E130 Pro feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another pricey gadget that promises a lot and delivers little? When I started looking into whole house dehumidifiers, I spent a few evenings reading the specs of a dozen models, scanning forums for anyone who actually lived with a unit for months, and checking the Energy Star database for efficiency ratings. The market is split between compact portable units that claim 130 pint capacity and industrial-grade machines that need a dedicated drain line. The middle ground, where the AprilAire sits, promises commercial-grade performance for a typical family home, but the trade-offs aren't always obvious until you picture it in your own space. First, let's talk about the size of the problem. A 130 pint unit is rated for up to 7,200 square feet, which translates to basically any average single-family house, including the crawl space and a sizable basement. If your home is around 2,000 square feet, and you have a damp basement that feels like a swamp after a heavy rain, this capacity makes sense. The unit uses smart sensing technology. It continuously measures the ambient humidity and turns the compressor on or off without you having to fiddle with a dial. That set-and-forget promise is more than marketing fluff. It means you're not stuck resetting the humidity level every night, because the sensor automatically adjusts to the next day's weather swing. One of the biggest hassles with traditional dehumidifiers is the water collection tray. You end up emptying it every few hours, and if you miss a cycle, you're left with a mini indoor pond. The AprilAire eliminates that by offering a direct drain option. You can attach a hose to the built-in drain port and let gravity do the work, feeding the water straight into a floor drain or a condensate pump. In my own basement, that means no more nightly trips to the utility room, and no risk of overflow if you forget to empty the tray during a weekend getaway. Energy efficiency is another point that often gets buried under the hype. This model carries the Energy Star Most Efficient Certified label, which means it uses less power than a comparable unit that isn't certified. In practical terms, if you run it continuously during a humid summer, the electricity bill increase is modest, usually a few dollars per month compared to a non-certified competitor that could add $15 or more. For homeowners who are already watching their utility costs, that certification translates into real savings over the lifespan of the machine. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of daily usability. The control panel is minimalistic. A digital display that shows the current humidity percentage, the target set point, and an indicator for filter cleaning. There's a built-in timer that lets you schedule operation, but honestly, you'll probably let the smart sensor handle that. The unit is heavy, around 150 pounds, and sits on a rolling cart with wheels, so moving it for cleaning or repositioning is doable. But you'll need at least one other person to lift it onto a concrete slab or a sturdy platform. If you live in a rental where you can't make permanent modifications, you might need to keep the hose looped to a nearby floor drain without drilling any holes, which can be a bit of a compromise. What about noise? Dehumidifiers of this size generate a low hum that you'll hear if you're standing in the basement, but it's not a constant high-pitched whine. In my tests, the sound level was comparable to a dishwasher running, noticeable, but not intrusive to the rest of the house. If you plan to turn the unit on while the basement doubles as a playroom or home gym, the noise level is acceptable, though you might want to keep it on a low setting during quiet hours. The AprilAire's coils are coated with corrosion-resistant aluminum, a detail that matters if you're dealing with a basement that's prone to occasional leaks or high mineral content in the water. Many cheaper units use standard steel coils that can rust over time, leading to reduced efficiency and the need for premature replacement. The extra durability here means the unit will likely outlast a typical 5-year warranty period, especially if you keep up with the occasional filter change. Speaking of filters, the model uses a washable air filter that captures dust and allergens. You'll need to clean it every month or so, depending on how dirty the air is. That's a small maintenance chore that most users find manageable, but it's worth noting that neglecting the filter can cause the compressor